Okay, spent some time out in the garage yesterday redoing the positive side block for the battery. Basically, the one that came with it, I had all these cables I had drilled into the metal part that goes on the actual connector. That came from the factory. And I had bolts and everything else holding it on, and it just looked really sloppy. So I got one of these. Basically, it comes with a set for the positive and negative. However, I do like this, being able to disconnect power quickly right there. So I'm not going to change that one out. But I did use the positive side. Got these on Amazon. These even a nice little plastic cover. It's easy to take off, little tabs on the side, and you just pull it right up if you ever need to jump or something like that. The other thing was it comes with two smaller holes that these screws actually go into, but I had a pretty good sized wire in there. For me, this would be an 8 gauge, so I just drilled out the hole so I could get this big one. And with the smaller one, this is basically just something I rigged up so I could do a quick charge if I wanted to, that way the pigtail's already there. The smaller one was no problem. So inside these holes, I had a anti-seize, which is the best thing whenever you're mixing. So we've got some aluminum, brass, you got some copper wire. Well, if you put the anti-seize in there, it prevents corrosion and buildup and stuff with dissimilar metals. Let's see here. So this is the main bundle here. This large one here actually goes to the starter. So that's in the largest hole that's on the back of it. Okay, so getting back to this, again, this is just a little fuse that goes to the charger. This was the original metal, but I didn't like it. It was, I don't know, it just started to rust and all that stuff, so I kind of wire brushed it all up and used some of that truck bed lining on this to go ahead and dress it up. The other thing I did was down underneath this headlight, this one right here, down here there's a little panel, and you basically have to take your grill off, just this portion, and then you pull from this end, and then this just basically comes out, and behind it there's actually a module, but behind this you'll just see a connector. If you disconnect that, you can actually disconnect your daytime running lights. So why did I do that? Well, I just put LED bulbs inside my headlights. And the only problem with that is, you guys know it, that when you first turn your vehicle on, the daytime running lights is a low version of your regular low beams. Well, with an LED, it doesn't recognize that. They're not dimmable. So they were just on full blast all the time. So I said, okay, I've had enough of this. So basically, I disconnected them here. Now, some of you guys will say, well, you can just go into this thing here and go ahead and pull the fuse out. You can, however, it doesn't really do anything. So I basically had this all labeled, and it's this little guy right here, and that is your daytime running lights. And by pulling that, it does absolutely nothing. It just controls the power side of the relay here. So you have to actually take this out, get down to the bottom if you want to snip wires or anything like that. I don't like really cutting wires. So like I said, I just went ahead and opened up this panel here and just disconnected the actual male and female from the connector. Usually when you build something, or you assemble something, or you'll receive something that has protective caps and everything, get that spring. Well, anyway, this one here, I've soaked it in hot water to make it nice and pliable. This actually fit perfectly on the actual plug that's connected to the aluminum unit itself. And then I just basically had another, I don't know, a dust cap or whatever in here that fit perfectly on the plug side. So the female is actually located on the unit itself, that little module, and then of course you have the male that's attached to the wire. So I had some dust covers I basically used and stuff, so everything is all sealed up. And if I ever sell and I want to go ahead and return this back to factory, all I have to do is open this panel back up, connect the two together, and voila, you have the daytime running lights. I was able to find some bulbs for the headlights that just have a big heat sink on both of them. And all I did was down in here, this is actually the rubber boot, usually it goes in, I just kind of turned it inside out, left the hole open so that the heat could breathe that comes off that heat sink that's on the back of the bulbs, and then just kind of tie wrapped everything up. So yesterday was just kind of a little day of getting some things like this done, and it gave me a chance to really clean off the grill and of course get this all sorted out. I really like the way this came out. It looks, I can't say it looks factory, but it looks a lot better. If you guys try this, you'll notice that the main bundle, which is this one here, you have to actually take this little clip off down here, separate it so you can work with this, but it's too short to do something like this. So what I did is the metal portion, I actually had to cut that back and then use, okay, so my apologies, I said 8 gauge, it's actually 6 gauge. So I used a probably about a 3-inch piece of this, and I put on one of these big old lugs here to basically bolt this to the metal portion of the factory after I cut it down and reshaped it. And then I was able to use, like I said, only about 3 inches or so of this, and then trim it back. And this is the part that actually went into the block, the new block. Now these things are pretty stout, and you don't want to take a chance on make sure you don't have a good cut. So I got one of these a long time ago. This, again, I think this is an Amazon special, but you basically put it in there, and then you go ahead and just smash this down. So again, you put the wire in there, you get it all set up, you put this on, say, the anvil part of a vise, give it a few whacks with like a bronze hammer or a regular hammer, whatever you want to use, and that gives you a nice good tight crimp without having to go out and spend all kinds of money. And it does the trick really well for anything big like that. And of course wire you can get anyway. I wish I could find wire that had more strands because it'd be more flexible, but this is all I could find at the time from Lowe's, and I just didn't feel like doing a lot of hunting around. So that's what I used to basically extend the wire inside for the battery. The bulb here, I think I got a package of 10 of these. These are good for, like your license plate. I basically ordered an overhead console. It's going to have 2 glasses holders along with a couple map lights. I've got a 2007, so needless to say it only has the 2 lights. I was immediately able to find the little LED boards to make it brighter, but up front you just don't have anything. So of course that's going to mean cutting into the headliner and actually running some wires out of this one here. So that's going to be a pretty involved job. I only get one shot at it because these headliners are about $1,600. What I've been using all these years since I've had it is these little map lights here, and you basically just twist them on, and then of course that's what I've been using for little map lights. Am I getting that? Let's try that. Again, they're not bad, but you have to go ahead and take them apart and put batteries in, and then you unscrew them to loosen them up and break the connection. But I've used that. I've got 2 up here and even one in the back in the back seat. So hopefully I can rig that where I don't think it has a dome light. The one I'm getting is from a 2004 Ford F-150. There's another guy that actually did it, and it looks really, really nice. I'm going to have to probably get some gray paint to make sure it's perfect, but he measured back 6 inches, and that's where it starts, the hole, and then he cut the hole out and stuff and put it in. So that'll be nice. That'll finish off the interior, and I can put the glasses up there and finally have some sort of lights. Okay, so these bulbs here again, I just replaced the license plate lights as LEDs. So now pretty much the truck has all LED lights on it, the LED flasher, all that neat stuff. Again, I think I got a package of 10 of these for nice LEDs. They have, you know, there's actually 5 LEDs on them. They're nice and bright, so that'll kind of finish off the truck's lighting. The other thing I need these for is that Ford F-150 overhead console uses these bulbs inside of it, other than the little incandescents that are in there now. There's a company out there that specializes in bulbs for that, and they'll sell 2 of these for $20 because you're going through a specialty shop and they won't give you the number. So I went ahead and looked it up, and basically that's it. That little bulb right there. It's standard for license plate lights or overhead lights, and that's what it is. It's basically a blade type. It's got an actual conductor on each side, and that's what I bought, and that's what I'll put in the new F-150 overhead console. So kind of looking forward to getting that. It's going to be an involved project, and something I really need to take my time with. You I said, this, I think it's a little Izzy 13 or something like that. That YouTube user, he went ahead and bought it, and he took it in and had an installer put it in. It really came out nice, and I like it a lot. So that's what I'm looking forward to doing to my truck, and that should finish off the interior. Of course, I always say that and end up adding something else later on. But that's it, guys. I'll let you know what's going on with the next video.